My name is Kelly, 29 years old, a graphic designer grinding away at a creative agency in San Francisco. I never imagined my wedding day, the one moment every girl dreams of, would become the day my heart shattered. Picture this. I'm standing in a white dress veil fluttering in the breeze, surrounded by friends, my fiancé's family, and an empty row of chairs where my parents and sister promised to sit. The officiant's voice hums through the vows, but my eyes keep darting to that vacant space, hoping they'd rush in late but present. They never came. Instead, as I exchanged rings with the love of my life, my phone buzzed with a notification, a photo from my sister's social media posted an hour ago. My parents, her husband, their kids all grinning on a yacht in Miami, sipping cocktails under the sun. The caption, "Family getaway goals. No stress, just us." My chest tightened like someone had punched me. They didn't just forget my wedding, they chose her vacation over it. I forced a smile for my new husband, but inside I was crumbling, betrayed by the people who raised me, who swore they'd be there. That moment redefined everything I thought I knew about family loyalty and what it means to be seen. If you've ever felt invisible to the ones who should love you most, hit that like button and subscribe. Share your story in the comments. Where are you watching from? Stick around to hear how I faced the ultimate betrayal and found a new kind of family. Growing up in our comfortable suburban home near Miami, we appeared like the ideal family from those glossy holiday cards. My father, Tyler, ran a successful construction firm, always in crisp shirts with blueprints under his arm. My mother, Courtney, managed accounts at a local bank known for her efficiency and warm smile to clients. My sister, Christina, older by 3 years, rounded out the picture with her straight-A report cards and effortless charm. From the outside, everything looked perfect. A spacious ranch-style house with a pool in the backyard, regular barbecues with neighbors, and annual trips to the Florida Keys. But underneath that surface lay a constant undercurrent of favoritism that shaped my entire childhood, making me feel like an afterthought in my own home. It started early, those subtle comparisons that chipped away at my confidence. I wasn't a bad kid, I kept decent grades, joined the school art club, and helped out at community events. But next to Christina's perfect 4.0 average, her role as class president, and her early acceptance to a top university, my efforts seemed invisible. "Look at what your sister accomplished in math this semester," my father would say during dinner, barely nodding at my own B+. "She pushes herself. Why can't you do the same?" It wasn't outright criticism at first. Just those offhand remarks that built up over time, turning every achievement into a reminder of how I fell short. My mother echoed the sentiment in her own way, always framing my progress against Christina's benchmarks. During parent-teacher conferences, she'd lean in and whisper to the teacher, "Kelly has so much potential, she just needs to apply herself like her sister does." I'd sit there, cheeks burning, wishing the floor would swallow me. Even small victories got overshadowed. When I won 3rd place in a school drawing contest, my parents showed up but spent the award ceremony discussing Christina's upcoming debate tournament victory from 2 years prior. That night, instead of celebrating my ribbon, we had takeout while they planned her college visit itinerary. Birthdays were another battleground where the imbalance showed. My 16th fell during Christina's college orientation weekend. My parents flew out to help her settle in, leaving me with a quick card and some cash for pizza with friends. "We'll make it up next weekend," the note said. But that promise faded into nothing as usual. By contrast, Christina's milestones got the full treatment: elaborate parties, custom cakes, and family photos plastered across social media. When I graduated high school with honors, they attended the ceremony, clapping politely as I crossed the stage. But the dinner afterward revolved around Christina's recent promotion at her interior design firm and her engagement to a rising architect. My own acceptance to a design program in San Francisco got a brief mention. "That's far away." My mother frowned, adding that Christina had chosen a school closer to home for family reasons. I picked San Francisco, deliberately craving distance from the endless measuring stick of Christina's success. Miami felt suffocating, every street corner a reminder of how I'd never quite match up. Christina stayed local, marrying soon after college and starting a family in an upscale condo just minutes from our parents. She had twins within 2 years, adorable kids with her same bright eyes, and she curated her life like a magazine spread, hosting brunches for my father's business partners, posting about her thriving design business online. "Your sister has it all figured out," my mother would say during our sparse calls. "When will you think about settling down, Kelly?" It didn't matter that I'd landed internships in competitive firms or built a portfolio that earned praise from mentors in their eyes. True success meant marriage, kids, and staying close, not chasing dreams across the country. The last family holiday I attended 3 years back sealed the pattern. They'd turned my old bedroom into a nursery for Christina's twins without a heads up. I ended up on the couch while she and her family claimed the guest suite. "We figured you wouldn't mind," my mother shrugged when I mentioned it. "You're hardly ever here anyway." At the table, Christina steered every conversation to her kids' latest milestones or her husband's big project win. I tried sharing about my first major client gig, a branding overhaul for a tech startup, but my father glanced at his phone and offered seconds on dessert. I cut the visit short, citing a deadline, and no one pressed for details or called to check my safe arrival home. Weeks later, Christina tagged me in a group photo from the day after I left. "Family vibes at their best," the caption read, as if my early exit improved the dynamic. That post crystallized it. I'd never rank as a priority. No matter how hard I tried to earn their notice, it always circled back to Christina. So I pulled back, limiting contact to obligatory texts and holiday greetings, focusing instead on carving out my own path, far from the shadows of Miami. San Francisco became my fresh start, a city buzzing with creativity where I could finally breathe without the weight of constant judgment. I threw myself into my graphic design program, graduating with a portfolio that landed me a junior role at a boutique agency specializing in brand visuals for startups. The work was demanding but rewarding, long hours sketching logos, collaborating on campaigns, and seeing my ideas come alive on billboards around the Bay Area. Unlike back home, my successes here felt earned on my own terms, without anyone asking how they stacked up against Christina's latest client win. Over the first few years, I built a routine that grounded me. My apartment in the Mission District was cozy, a one-bedroom filled with thrift store finds and my own artwork on the walls. I joined a weekly sketching group at a local studio where I met people who valued my perspective without preconceptions. That's where Erica came in, a fellow designer who'd started at the agency just months after me. She was straightforward and supportive, the kind of friend who showed up with coffee during late-night deadlines. We bonded over shared frustrations with perfectionist clients and celebrated small wins like landing a pitch together. Through her, I expanded my circle to include others from the group like Monica, an instructor who ran the sessions and always encouraged my bolder concepts. Communication with my family settled into a distant rhythm, brief calls on birthdays, where I'd listen to updates on Christina's growing family and her thriving interior design business, then share edited highlights of my life. I'd send cards for the twins' milestones or holiday gifts, but acknowledgments were rare, often just a quick text. I told myself this detachment was healthy. Many people kept family at arm's length to protect their peace. If a pang hit when I saw colleagues' parents visit for events or friends post about sibling get-togethers, I'd push it down. This was the trade-off for escaping that nagging sense of inadequacy. Work evolved into my anchor, proving my worth in ways Miami never had. I climbed to mid-level designer, handling major accounts with budgets that let me travel for shoots. My boss praised my innovative edges during reviews, calling me the team's go-to for fresh ideas. Erica and I teamed up on a rebranding project for a coffee chain that won industry nods. Our late sessions, fueled by takeout and laughter, made the grind feel worthwhile. Outside the office, Monica's group became a weekly escape, where we'd experiment with digital tools or urban sketches, fostering connections that felt genuine. Romantic life took time to settle, but when I met Alex at a networking event 2 years in, things clicked. He was a software developer with a dry humor that balanced my creative chaos. We started with casual dates exploring the city's hidden spots, then built something steady. He came from a close-knit family but understood my boundaries without pushing. After 18 months, he proposed during a hike in the Marin Headlands, ring in hand as the fog rolled in. I said yes, immediately excited to plan a simple ceremony that reflected us intimate vows at a waterfront venue surrounded by friends who'd become my chosen support. Planning the wedding brought mixed emotions. I invited my parents and Christina out of habit, sending save the dates with details about the San Francisco location. On calls, they sounded enthusiastic. My mother promised to help with floral ideas. My father mentioned booking flights early. Christina even suggested incorporating some design elements from her own wedding, which I politely declined. Deep down, I braced for disappointment, but a small part hoped this milestone might shift things, make them see me as an equal, deserving their presence. As the date approached, work ramped up with a high-profile campaign, but I balanced it with fittings and tastings alongside Erica and Monica. Erica handled bridesmaid duties with efficiency, organizing a low-key bachelorette in wine country. Monica contributed by designing custom invitations, her artistic touch adding warmth. Alex's family stepped in too, his parents offering venue tips, and his siblings pitching in on logistics. Their involvement highlighted what I'd missed growing up: unconditional backing without strings. The night before the wedding, nerves hit hard. I double-checked RSVPs, noting my family's confirmations from weeks prior. A quick text to my mother got a thumbs-up emoji in response. No elaborate reassurances, but enough to ease the doubt. Lying awake, I reflected on how far I'd come from the overlooked girl in Miami to a woman building her own world. Tomorrow would mark not just a marriage, but a celebration of that independence with or without them. The wedding morning dawned clear and crisp, a typical San Francisco day with fog lifting over the bay. I woke early in our hotel suite near the venue, heart pounding with a mix of excitement and lingering unease. Alex was already up making coffee, his calm presence steadying me as I slipped into my dress, a simple A-line with lace details that felt elegant without excess. Erica arrived soon after with makeup bags and last-minute checklists, her energy keeping things light, while Monica adjusted my veil and added a fresh flower pin from her studio collection. We laughed through the preparations, snapping photos and toasting with mimosas, my chosen circle making the moment feel complete, even before guests arrived. The venue overlooked the water, a modest outdoor space with arched trellises and seating for 80. Alex's family bustled in early, his mother fussing over table settings while friends from work and the sketching group filled the rows. I scanned for my side of the aisle, those reserved chairs for my parents, and Christina still empty as the clock ticked toward the start. No missed calls or texts explain the delay, perhaps traffic from the airport or a last-minute snag. The officiant pulled me aside gently. We can hold a few minutes if needed, but I shook my head. Let's proceed. Deep down, I sensed something off but pushed it aside for Alex's sake. As I walked down the aisle to soft guitar strains, arm-linked with a close uncle from Alex's side, the absence hit harder. Whispers rippled through the crowd, friends exchanging glances, but I focused on Alex's smile waiting at the altar. Vows flowed sincerely, promises of partnership and growth, our rings exchanged with steady hands. Guests cheered as we kissed, champagne popped during photos, but that empty row gnawed at me like an open wound. Erica squeezed my shoulder during group shots. They're missing out. Not you, her words. A brief balm against the rising hurt. Reception kicked off under string-light speeches from Alex's siblings, warm and genuine, followed by dancing and cake cutting. I checked my phone discreetly between toasts. No updates from Miami. Then midway through a slow dance with Alex, it buzzed in my clutch. A notification from Christina's social media, a new post tagged to me. My stomach dropped as I opened it discreetly. There they were on a gleaming yacht off Miami's coast. My parents, Christina, her husband, and the twins all in matching resort wear, laughing with ocean waves behind them. Time stamped that morning hours after my ceremony started. Caption read, "No stress, just US family. Getaway goals with heart emojis." Comments poured in from extended relatives. "Looks amazing and making memories, none questioning my absence." The phone slipped from my hand, Alex catching it mid-fall, his face shifting from joy to concern as he saw the screen. "They didn't come," he whispered, pulling me aside. "They chose that instead." Tears welled, but I blinked them back, not wanting to ruin our day. Erica and Monica noticed, hustling over with excuses to guests, guiding me to a quiet corner. "How could they?" Erica fumed, scrolling through the post, "Your own wedding." Monica hugged me tight. "This says everything about them, not you." Their words grounded me, but the betrayal burned deep, years of being sidelined culminating in this blatant dismissal. I forced myself back into the festivities, cutting cake with a plastered smile, toasting friends who'd traveled far. Alex stayed close, his hand in mine, a constant anchor whispering reminders of our new beginning. But inside questions swirled. Had they ever planned to come? Or was it always secondary to Christina's plans? The post's timing felt deliberate, a public declaration that my milestone ranked below their leisure. Guests sensed the shift, offering extra hugs, but I waved off explanations, claiming a minor mix-up. As evening wound down, guests departing with well wishes, I sat with Erica and Monica at an empty table, debriefing over leftover wine. They didn't even call, Monica pointed out, checking my logs. No apology, no nothing. Erica pulled up flight trackers, confirming direct options from Miami that morning, proving distance wasn't the issue. It was choice, pure and simple. Their absence wasn't forgetfulness, it was preference for Christina's world over mine. The hurt morphed into anger by night's end, packing up gifts alone while Alex handled vendors. Back at the hotel, honeymoon bags ready for a quick Napa escape, I stared at that post again, zooming in on my parents' smiles. How many times had I excused their priorities, convincing myself it was unintentional? This crossed a line, turning my joy into isolation on what should have been our celebration. Erica crashed on our couch that night, insisting on company, while Monica texted resources for dealing with family estrangement from her own past experiences. Their support contrasted sharply with the silence from Miami. No frantic calls, no regretful messages. Sleep came fitfully, dreams replaying empty chairs and yacht laughter, waking to the same hollow ache. By morning, resolve hardened. I wouldn't chase explanations or beg for attention anymore. But confronting the void head-on waited until clarity returned. The days after the wedding blurred into a haze of hurt and quiet rage. Alex and I cut our Napa honeymoon short, 2 days instead of 5, my heart too heavy to savor vineyard sunsets. Back in San Francisco, Erica refused to let me stew alone. She dragged me to our sketching group, insisting creativity would ground me. Monica led the session with her usual warmth, pairing us with new members who'd faced their own family struggles. Their stories of siblings, favored parents, absent, echoed mine in ways that stung, but also soothed, reminding me I wasn't alone. Erica stayed close, checking in between strokes of charcoal, while Monica slipped me a list of contacts for a local support group focused on navigating family estrangement. These people, barely more than acquaintances a year ago, showed up without hesitation, unlike the family I'd expected to lean on. A week later, my phone lit up with a video call from my grandfather Aaron, the one person who'd always seen me for me. Growing up, he'd been my refuge, teaching me to sketch landscapes by the lake and telling stories of his youth over chess games. I answered, bracing for the familiar comfort of his voice. His face appeared grayer, thinner than I remembered, hospital lights casting shadows across his features. "Kelly girl," he said softly, his voice steady despite a recent mild stroke. "I heard about the wedding. What happened?" My throat tightened. Someone had told him, likely an aunt who'd seen the yacht post. "They didn't show Grandpa," I managed. "They chose Christina's vacation instead, posted it online like I didn't matter." Aaron's eyes narrowed with a mix of sorrow and anger. "That's not right," he said, shaking his head. "You deserved better, always have." He paused, adjusting his position against the pillows. "I've been meaning to tell you, the cottage by Lake Tahoe, it's yours. Papers are signed." My jaw dropped. The tiny cabin where we'd spent summers sketching grilling fish, listening to crickets, was my haven as a kid. "Grandpa, you don't have to." I started, but he cut me off. "It's done. That place is your piece, Kelly. Always was." His voice softened. "One more thing, don't keep running from them. Face it head on, say what needs saying, then decide your path." His words lit a spark. I'd spent years avoiding confrontation, swallowing the hurt to keep peace. No more. That evening, fueled by Aaron's advice and Erica's encouragement, I dialed my father's number. Tyler answered on the second ring. "Kelly, where have you been? We've been worried." The audacity of it hit like a slap. No calls, no texts since the wedding, and now this. "Worried?" I snapped, voice shaking but firm. "You didn't even show up to my wedding, Dad. You were on a yacht with Christina posting about your perfect family getaway." Silence stretched long and heavy. Finally, he mumbled, "We thought you'd understand it was a last-minute trip, and Christina needed us. Needed you." I laughed, bitter and sharp. "It was my wedding, my one day, and you chose her vacation. Did you even book flights?" My mother, Courtney, jumped in, her voice flustered. "We meant to come, Kelly, but things got complicated. Christina's twins were sick," and stop, I cut her off. "The twins looked fine in those photos, Mom. Don't lie to me." Christina's voice broke through, defensive. "You're making this bigger than it is, Kelly. We didn't mean to hurt you, it's just one day." "One day," I shot back. "It's a lifetime of being your afterthought. You tagged me in that post to rub it in. Admit it." The line went quiet again. My mother's stifled sob the only sound. My father tried to recover. "We messed up, okay? We're sorry, but we're still family." "Family?" I asked, voice low and steady. "Family shows up, Dad. Family doesn't make you feel invisible on the most important day of your life. You've never seen me for me, always, Christina's shadow." Courtney pleaded. "We love you, Kelly. We just—" "Love isn't enough when it's conditional," I said, cutting through her words. "I've spent years chasing your approval and I'm done. Don't call, don't text, don't show up. I'm finished." I hung up before they could respond, heart-pounding, adrenaline rushing through me like fire. Erica, who'd sat quietly during the call, handed me a glass of water. "That was fierce," she said, a proud grin spreading. "You said everything they needed to hear." Monica, joining us via text, echoed her, "You've reclaimed your power. Don't let them take it back." Their support felt like armor shielding me from the guilt threatening to creep in. I glanced at my phone. No follow-up messages, no apologies, just silence from Miami proving my point. Aaron called again the next morning, checking in, despite his own recovery. "You did it, Kelly girl," he said, pride evident even through his weakened tone. "Now live for you, not them." His words cemented my resolve. The Tahoe cottage, my inheritance, was more than a gift. It was freedom, a symbol of a life I could build without their validation. I wouldn't reach out again, wouldn't beg for scraps of attention. My family had made their choice, and I'd made mine, cutting ties completely to protect my peace. Months passed in a steady rhythm after that final call, my life reshaping around the void I'd created by choice. Alex and I drove to the Tahoe cottage a few weeks later, packing essentials for a long weekend that stretched into indefinite stays. The place was just as I remembered: rustic wooden beams overlooking the lake, a small dock where Grandpa Aaron and I once sketched sunrises. We cleaned it up together, sanding worn floors and adding modern touches like a home office for my freelance design gigs. Work shifted remote, my agency flexible after the wedding fallout, allowing me to take on passion projects without the old pressures. Erica visited often, driving up from San Francisco with sketch pads and wine, turning weekends into creative retreats. Monica joined when she could, her group evolving into virtual sessions that kept our bond strong. We'd hike trails, share meals on the porch, and talk through everything from design trends to the emotional scars of family cuts. Their presence filled spaces I'd long left empty, no judgments, just genuine care that built me up. Alex fit seamlessly, hosting barbecues for our growing circle, his family checking in with calls that felt warm without obligation. News from Miami trickled through mutual contacts: Christina's business booming, my parents retiring early, but I blocked their numbers and social accounts to maintain the boundary. No reconciliation attempts came, no surprise visits or pleading letters, just the silence I'd demanded. Aaron passed peacefully a month after our last talk. His funeral a Miami affair, I skipped sending flowers anonymously. His gift of the cottage became my anchor, a tangible reminder that true support comes from those who see your worth without conditions. Living here freed me in ways I hadn't imagined, no more chasing approval or measuring against Christina's milestones. I poured energy into my marriage, Alex and I exploring the area, planning future adventures, unburdened by past shadows. Friendships deepened, Erica and Monica becoming the sisters I'd never had, our group expanding to include locals from similar paths. The pain of that empty wedding row faded, not forgotten, but transformed into fuel for a fuller life. From this experience, I learned that family isn't always defined by blood. Sometimes those ties cause more harm than good, trapping you in cycles of neglect and comparison. The biggest lesson was prioritizing people who show up willingly, who value you without making you earn it. I warn anyone listening: if your family makes you feel invisible or secondary, have the courage to walk away. It might hurt at first, but it opens doors to real connections and self-respect. Holding on to toxic relationships just prolongs the damage. Letting go saved my sanity and let me build something authentic. Thank you for listening to my story. If you've ever had to redefine family or cut ties for your well-being, share in the comments below. Hit like if this resonated, subscribe for more tales of resilience and empowerment, and remember, you deserve people who choose you every time.